Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Species. As you can probably tell, I am in a rather dismal state, but there is something that finds itself in a state even worse than mine, which is the RTX 5070, and that is what we are reviewing today. So we'll start with the benchmarks, but there is also something interesting about the price, so stick around till the end of the video when we'll discuss it. So let us simply start with the benchmarks. The first game is Counter-Strike 2 1440p medium settings. Here, our RTX 5070 is 1% slower than the 4070 Super, 9% faster than the 4070, and 20% slower than the 7900 XT. Now, you may ask, why did I include 7900 XT in this comparison? That is because of the price, but we'll see for that at the end of the video. So, we move on to the next benchmark, Counter-Strike 2 4K medium settings. Our 5070 is 5% faster than the 4070 Super, 18% faster than the 4070, and 11% slower than the 7900 XT. Next game is Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, no ray tracing, 1440p high quality. Here our 5070 is 2% slower than the 4070 Super, 17% faster than the 4070, and 15% slower than the 7900 XT. At 4K high quality, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, 5070 is 6% faster than the 4070 Super, 27% faster than the 4070, and 16% slower than the 7900 XT. Hogwarts Legacy 1440p high quality. 5070 18% faster than the 4070 Super, 30% faster than the 4070, 24% slower than the 7900 XT. Hogwarts Legacy 4K high quality, 8% faster than the 4070 Super, 23% faster than the 4070, and 23% slower than the 7900 XT. So before we move on to the ray tracing benchmarks, I'd like to address something. Now, there were a lot of games. Now, they're not included here. Again, we were not able to test that. But from what I found, in a lot of games, the distance between the 5070 and the 4070 Super is not a lot. The games included here are making use of the higher bandwidth memory, GDDR7, which the 5070 gets and the 4070 Super does not. So, now let us move on to the ray tracing benchmarks. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, ultra ray tracing quality upscaling at 1440p. Here I'm not using percentages, only the FPS numbers, because the FPS numbers are really low. Most of the times they won't be playable, and including percentages skews the difference between the cards. So 5070 achieved an average frame rate of 58 FPS, 4070 Super 66 FPS, 4070 54 FPS. At 4K with ray tracing ultra and quality upscaling, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Our 5070 was able to generate 31 frames per second, 4070 Super went up to 32 frames per second, 4070 at 27 frames per second. Again, I'd like to remind you that in ray tracing benchmarks, we are using average FPS. Alan Wake 2 1440p ray tracing, high quality, high ray tracing, quality upscaling. 39 FPS for the 5070, 46 for the 4070 Super, and 39 for the 4070. 4K ray tracing, high quality ray tracing, quality upscaling. 22 FPS for the 5070, 22 for the 4070 Super, and 18 for the 4070. Black Myth Wukong 1440p ray tracing, very high quality, very high ray tracing, quality upscaling. 5070 achieves 46 FPS average, 4070 Super 47, and 4070 40 FPS average. At 4K, Black Myth Wukong with very high quality, very high ray tracing and quality upscaling achieves 25 FPS. 4070 Super again 25 FPS, and 4070 21 FPS. So this is the end of our benchmarks, and as you probably have seen that in ray tracing the difference between the 5070 and 4070 Super is not a lot. Also 5070 or the 4070 Super is not a card that you get for native 4K ray traced gaming. So the 5070 won't be able to achieve playable frame rates without DLSS and frame generation. Now that is up to you if you would like to use the so-called fake frames in your gaming or not. So these are the benchmarks. Now we are going to talk about the price. So the cheapest one that I found was for 62,000 rupees at TPS Tech. Now this is Inno3D. I'm not sure if you want to get an Inno3D or not. If you would like to go to a more known brand, here again Inno3D White 67, but again a known brand. So MSI RTX 5070 Shadow for 76,000, and this is the cheapest one I could find here. Alright, If you want to take a look at the other cards, you can pause the video, take a look at the price. We move on to Prime ABGB. Again, we have Galax cards, 69 and 68,000 rupees. MD computers, again, Inno3D, 68, 200. Now, we talk about the price of the competitors. 4070 Super, the cheapest I could find, was 58,689 on Flipkart. Again, this is an Inno3D card. If you're going with Inno3D, I would suggest that you go with the 5070 because it's a newer card, uses GDDR7 and is better at AI and creativity and productivity and all of that. Although with the 12 GB VRAM, I'm not really sure how much useful it is going to be in AI tasks with larger models. So this is the story. But if you want to go with a known brand in a 4070 Super, this Asus one you can find, 4070 Super Dual OC edition, 62,000 rupees. Now this one is out of stock, so you can probably go with this one, Evo 63.5. All right. So again, this is an Inno3D for 62,000. So ideally you should not buy this one, the 4070 Super over the 5070. But again, if you want to go with a more known brand, 75 or 76 is the lowest you can find. So a 4070 Super at this price is quite all right, and you can happily go with it. Now, about the competition from AMD. So if you do not care about ray tracing, if you do not care about productivity, if you want a graphics card for pure rasterized gaming, which is also decent at 4K, at least in rasterization, has a 20 GB VRAM. So the 7900 XT is a very good option. 65,800 for this, 63,990 for this, and 63.5 for this. Now, the 9070 and the 9070 XT are already out and the reviews are really good. So I'm just waiting on the prices. The next video is going to be the review of those two cards, and they're worth waiting for. From what I can see so far, they're worth waiting for. So if you like the content, please like the video. It helps us a lot. Subscribe to the channel because we keep making this kind of content all the time. So this is it for this one. We'll see you in the next one with the 9070 and the 9070 XT.